Hello guys! In today's video we are going to create a Pixar navigation bar in Angular using Bootstrap. So let's switch to Visual Studio Code and start creating our navigation bar. Okay, here I have just created a blank Angular application using Angular CLI, and I have nothing added except that I deleted everything from this app component here. The first thing we have to do, as we are using Bootstrap, is to go to the download page of Bootstrap and download Bootstrap. So get bootstrap.com, download section, and here we're using npm, copying this, going back to terminal, npm install Bootstrap. Okay, as we have added Bootstrap to our project, actually installed it from npm, we have to include that Bootstrap somehow in our project. So I'll show how to do that. In some of my previous videos, I have shown you 3 different ways of installing Bootstrap to Angular projects. So you can go there and check that video. I'll put a link in the card somewhere on the screen. So here, as I'm using SCSS, I'll import SCSS file from Bootstrap to add a Bootstrap here. So I'll do the following: import, and I'll say tilde. This means that Webpack is looking at node modules folder, and we're saying Bootstrap, then SCSS, and finally Bootstrap. I don't have to add extensions here, as SCSS recognize that this is SCSS file. So this is the way if you're using SCSS. After this, we have to add Bootstrap.js. So go to angular.json file, and here in the build and under the scripts array, add the following. I'll say node modules, Bootstrap again, dist js, and bootstrap.js, and that's everything I have to do to include Bootstrap into Angular project. So this is the path of a Bootstrap.js file in the node modules. So we can check that here, node modules, Bootstrap. Okay, here Bootstrap, I say dist js and bootstrap.min.js. Okay, this is the file. So after editing this angular.json file anyway, so if you're doing anything, you have to rerun your Angular application. So we haven't started it yet, but just to let you know, ngs, which is shortcut of ngserve, and we are waiting for Angular to build the application for us and run it. Oh, I have made a mistake here. I don't need this. Sorry. So there's no need a / after the tilde. Okay, it's built successfully built, and we can go to our local host and check our application. So go here. Actually, I'll open it here. Okay, so we can see Pixar, but the application has nothing in, so we'll see just the blank screen. Okay, now in our app component, actually in our source folder, I'm going to create another folder called components. Components here, and into that components file, I'm going to generate another file, actually another component. That's the navigation bar or navbar, and I'll use a defill pure component with an on change strategy, on push change detection strategy. Okay, here The extension I use for creating components is Angular schematics, but what it does is just typing this here for me in the terminal, so you can see everything it did. Now in our app component we have to include our navbar, app navbar, save, and go to our website to see that navbar works actually. Okay, and that's it. I'm just kidding. Okay, we have to create our navigation bar right now. So this was actually set up for the and preparation for the process of creating our navigation bar. So I have added this navigation bar component here, and what we have to do, as we are going to use a Bootstrap navigation bar, we'll go to Bootstrap website here and find here under components, and we're looking for navbar, and I'm going to use the first one here. Just copy everything here and we should get this one. Okay, paste, go back to the app and we can see it here. Okay, this doesn't look like the one we are going to create from Pixar, so but we are going to adapt it. And what we have to do first, okay, first I'm going to remove everything unnecessary here. So we don't need this form here with the search, and it's gone. Also here I'm going to add ms.auto to put this right and to have a logo on the left side, so you can see that, and slightly it starts to look like this one on Pixar. Okay, I'll remove these three here, so here, and remove everything. Okay, and what we have is just home button and navbar. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download this image. So I'll save that image somewhere on my computer, actually in downloads, and I'll call it Pixar logo. Now I'll import that file. Okay, here, and what I like to do usually is to go here in our app, actually not app, source, assets, and create a folder named images or image. Okay, that's it. And into that folder I'm going to drop the logo I downloaded from Pixar. So Pixar logo.png. Okay, here it is. You can keep this naming here, but you can rename it just like this. Pixar logo. Okay, so we have a Pixar logo here, and we have to include that, actually import that Pixar logo somewhere here. And what am I going to do is right now I'll add an image here. Image source is slash assets slash Pixar logo.png, and we can call it Pixar logo. Let me check. Do we have it here? No, we haven't. What am I doing wrong here? it should be assets slash images or image Pixar logo. It's my mistake. And now we have that logo here. Why am I doing this here? I have to tell you. When you are calling these assets and the Angular is building application, it actually builds everything and bundle it, and the assets are always here slash your domain, your root slash assets images Pixar logo. If you call it like a relative path here, so this is absolute path, but if you call it as a relative path here, you will, after building after Angular builds the application, you'll miss the images. So don't do that. It's easier like this, just if your assets are always at the same place, but they should be. Okay, assets image Pixar logo, and we have that logo here. The next thing I'm going to do is here I'll play a bit with SCSS here. So I'll say like this, nav, and I'll give a background here, let's say transparent or white. Okay, and it will not do anything because we have a class on this navbar that has navbar light and background light. Okay, here, and now it should be white, and it is. The next thing we have to do is to add some padding here. As you can see here, there is a padding around everything here. So I would say that we can add a padding of 100 pixels from the left or right, and 50 pixels from the top and the bottom. To do that, we'll say okay, padding, oops, padding 50 pixels and 100 pixels. So let us check it. Okay, we have that here. So what is this doing? Always when adding padding or margin, it is going clockwise, but it is starting from the top. So the first number here always is the top, and if we add two of these, the first one represents top and bottom, the opposite sides, and the second one left and the right and left, so also opposite sides. And we have 50 pixels from the top and the bottom and 100 pixels from the left and right. So that's it here. Now I'm going to do some things here into this navbar component. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to create this navigation here, actually an array of objects, and call it nav items. Why am I doing this? You'll see in a second. So this navigation bar could be also a shared component with the different items, but you will do the import and just provide this component with the data. But for now we need it like this. I'm going to Pixar website here, and to get these names of these items in the navbar. So it's feature films, short movies, actually films, technology, careers. Okay, short. You'll see like that. Path. I'll call it feature films, and the name. Okay, come up, and now we have here 6 items, so 5 more times. Oops. Okay, the next one is short films, Okay, that's it. We have added our items and saved. Now in the HTML here, we have to call these items. So I'm going to do the following: ng for let item of nav items, and well, I'll keep the class nav item and also the class nav link active for now, but we'll change it. And I'll say here, okay, item dot what's it name? Let's check item dot name. So it is item dot name. Let's hit save and go to our website to check, do we have them? And yes, we have them. Okay, now we have to add the links here, and I'll remove this. You can also remove these here. And what I have to do here is to add router link, and I'll add item dot path. Okay, this would be our router link. And also a tip here, when you're doing navbars, there's another option here to say router link active, and you can say okay equals active. This will actually add the active class to our links here if that route is activated. So let's check that out. Okay, here when I hover, you can see at the left bottom here that we have our links there. So as I don't have any of these right now components, we cannot check them and click on them, but you see what's going on here. So now we have to take a look at these things. Okay, what we have here? We have these items capitalized, and we have some spacing around and also some letter spacing. So let's do that. I'm going here to nav, and under the nav I'll say okay UL, that would be our first list, and I'll say li, and also I'll say that we have a padding of let's say 10 pixels around the items. So it is about that. It's almost like that. Maybe you can say 15. That could work for us. Okay, and here I would say all items would be capitalized, so text transform uppercase. Why I added them like here, like regular names, because I don't like to let's say hard code them here, because sometimes if we decide to redesign or do anything here, we don't want to go to every single item and change letters from capitalized to regular or vice versa. So I'll do that using CSS here. So go back and we can see our items in this this style. Okay, now we have to change the color of these, and let's check what's going on here. It is black, let's say. Okay, and as these are anchor links, we have to select anchor and say okay, anchor background color would be 000. So that's black. Okay, it's black. Okay, and we have some kind of letter spacing. Let's say pixel to check what is going. It is better to see, is it almost like that? It is almost like that. Now we have to do the following to check this hover effect here. So if we hover, we can see that color is changing to gray. Okay, I'll say and hover here, which means that every single item anchor, every single anchor here, when we hover, will get this color. Let's say 0. Okay. So this is gray. So this is approximately that. It's not 100%, but it could fit. Yeah, it works for me. So we can see now that we have these colors like that. We could adjust a bit this padding. Let's see, it's 40. I think it's a bit better, but it's not 100%. Okay, let's say 30. I believe this is better. This is much better. Okay. And maybe to do the letter spacing a bit more, let's say 2 pixels. This looks much better. And the font, say 14 pixels. Yes, it is almost like that. And maybe to change font height, font weight to, let's say, 500. Okay. Let's say 15. Okay, this is almost like that. Let's say almost. Okay, we can see here that we have similar behavior like there. So the next thing we have to do here is to create this sub navigation bar here. So as we already have these main things here, we have to add some kind of sub navigation bar here. So to do that, we are going to our Angular here and into our component here, where we created these nav items. We're going to add another object within these objects. So, and here are short films. Okay, under the short films, I'm going to add these items. So short films, and I'll say this also, don't forget the comma, and let's say sub items, let's say okay, array of sub items. Actually this should be array. Okay, sub items, and then we can have our objects here, the same like these above. Path, and I won't add all paths here, just I'll add names. Okay, here we have added our sub items. So I won't add all of these, but just want to have this sub item here, just to show how it works. So what we have to do right now, we have to go to our HTML here and to say okay. Here we have to add another list, so it is UL and LI. And now what am I going to do is here I'll call it I'll actually check if this item has sub items. So ng if item sub items. So if there is item sub items, do the following: ng4 equals let sub item of item sub items. And now here we can add anchor link again, and we'll call it like here sub item name, and here we'll again add this router link. A link equals sub item dot path. Okay, sub item path. And now we can check that here, and the expected result is this. Okay, this is okay and fine for now, even if it looks ugly. So what is going on here? We have to remove this list items, actually decorations here, and the decorations of anchor links here, and to put everything into a single box with the black background and the white text here. So to do that, we're going to this here navbar component. So the first thing we have to do is here into this list we have to add UL, since we have that UL into our list, which is second item, second list inside it. And I'll say li link, anchor link, and I'll say first text decoration none, which will remove line below the anchors. Also I'll say here UL list style type, I'll say none. Okay, let's check that. So we have removed these here. Okay, that's the first step. The second step is here to say that this list is actually positioned absolute. Position absolute, and we have to say to this li here that the position is relative. Okay, which means that this element will be absolutely positioned relatively to this element here, so it won't go somewhere on the side, it will actually go under this. So as we can see here, that's it. And now we have to change the color here to white. Let's say white. Okay, and also we have to add the black background here. Background color black. Okay, let's check that. Okay, that's it basically. And now what do we have to do here? We have to stretch this a bit. I'll add some padding here. Let's say 20 pixels. Okay, we have a 20 pixels padding, and display as a block, maybe block. This won't change anything here. Okay, and let's say here. Okay, it's a bit better. And now with let's add some here also font size first. Okay, LIUL. None. But after when we hover this list here, okay, we said okay, display none, so there is no our sub item here, sub navigation here, but we'll do the following. We'll say and hover to our element above, and I will say UL display block. This will automatically add a block and visibility to our element, as you can see here. Okay, and so that works for us. Now we have to do the following things. We have to change this a bit. Let's see, we have to stretch this text somehow, because right now it looks like it is going below these things here, but we don't want that. Okay, we can say that our list actually UL here has some height of 150 pixels. Oh, sorry, width. And that's not what we expect. Let's say 1%, and it will go through all. Something is wrong with this. Let's do this. It looks a bit better, but okay, we have this list. It has padding and margin. We have a text here that has a letter spacing. Let's say, okay, we could change this a bit. EM, and here font size is 15 pixels and font weight. Okay, also we can add a cursor pointer here. Let's check that. Okay, it is a bit better. Okay, we have to add a padding, and here in our sub list. So here's our sub items, position absolute. Okay, display now, background color, padding 1 AM. Okay, we have double. we have solved the issue. The issue we had is because this here is actually position relative, but we don't want it to be position relative to this element, since it fits its width actually, instead of having its own width. So that was the issue we are facing right now here. So we are able to continue here and to check what we have to do right now. So here we have this spacing here and the color on hover. Okay, we have the spacing almost the same here. Maybe I could adjust this padding a bit, but it's okay. It seems okay. It seems okay. Maybe between these elements, just margin. Let's say that we have margin 0, 10 pixels. So UL LI, it's okay, and we have another UL. Padding, let's say padding that is in the sub items 1 AM is right now. Let's try it with 0, just try. Okay, it does work, and we can see this style tag now. Okay, just to be sure that it's gone. Okay, and we can add that padding of 1 AM. I'll remove this one here. Okay, it looks better, but I think that we have some kind of padding here inside the anchor link here, and if I say pad 0, let's see, yeah, that was the issue. Okay, we'll say 1 AM to check it. It's a big. Okay, I'll say 5 pixels from all sides. I think this looks really similar. Okay, it is. Okay, the next thing we have to do, as you can see, the transition on our sub item here doesn't look the same as the one we have on the Pixar websites. So it is going like from the bottom and appears here. So to do that and to create that effect, we're going to create some kind of CSS animations here. So what am I going to do here? I'll create somewhere here, let's say keyframes, and identifier would be let's say fade in bottom nav or sub nav. Okay, and I'll say the following. Okay, from, so we are saying from where to go. So it is going from opacity 0 and margin top minus 10 pixels, which means that the starting point for this animation would be the element who has that has this animation will have opacity 0 and margin top when it appears, and after that, depends on the duration of the animation, is going to opacity 1, so we are resetting it, and the margin top to 0 pixels, which means that this element is going from the bottom up and appearing. So we have saved our animation, and we have to go here and on this UL list, which is our sub list of navigation, and say the following: animation, and we'll paste our name of animation. I'll say 1s, which means 1 second, and we'll say ease in out, which represents the transition type. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, this is not what we have on Pixar, and it is going opposite. So we'll say 0.2 seconds, and I'll just change this from 10 pixels to 0. Let's try it again. Okay, this is it. You can see here. Okay, and now what we have to do here, we can create some kind of let's say transition also here. Transition opacity. Okay, opacity, and let's say 0.1s, easing out as well. We have some kind of this effect of appearance. You see, when we move, we can have 0.2 seconds here. You see, appearance is not immediately, it has some delay. Okay, so that's it. We have to create a hover effect here and say okay, and hover, and the color will be 00909090. Okay, and we can add another transition here. What we are trying to achieve with this transition is also the color when you hover here that is not immediately, but has some delay. So like here, you can see. Okay, that's it. So we are creating that here, and we'll say transition color 0.2 seconds, easing out. Okay, let's check what we have. Okay, we have that effect right now. You see, it's not immediately, and we have some kind of effect that is delaying. So we have created our navigation bar here, and we have created sub navigation bar here. What we can do here is we can just duplicate this to check the transition between these elements. So I'm not going to create everything, but what we can do, we can just copy this sub item array here and put it somewhere here, let's say in extras. Okay, now we have short films here, nothing, and in extras we have these items again. So let's go back to our Pixar. Okay, I could add that here as well to have the same feeling. Okay, we have created this navigation bar, which is almost the same as a Pixar, as on Pixar. Maybe we could just play a bit with the fonts and the spacings, but that is the logic behind this. So I hope you learned something new from this tutorial, and thank you for watching this tutorial. In the next lecture, I'm going to create this parallax effect here as on Pixar, so stay tuned for the next videos. Once more, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.